What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. So we got a crazy leak right now from Dave the White Rhino Allen exposing Anthony Robert Belchua, aka Anthony Johnston, aka Anthony Joshua, for being tight with the coins, man. Tight with the sparring coins. Johnston was sparring with Dave Allen for 3 years and didn't pay him a dime. Yeah? This tight looking ass Nick. Can't stand tight looking asses like that, to be honest. Anyway, let's get to the bars from Dave. Here we go.
Stuff to get something, you know. The next one, Anthony Joshua, I sparred from 2012 to end of 2015. I first sparred for the Olympics. I was pestering Ron McCracken to let me spar, and we finally did. So, you know, he was in the Olympics, you know, and I'm at that point, I was doing all the assessments and stuff, so I weren't expecting to get paid. And you know what, I sparred for 3.5 years. I never expected any payment at all the whole time. I wasn't there for that. That wasn't what I was about when I was younger. Money wasn't really on my radar for what I was interested in. And then, like I said, things soured a little. Me and him used to get on great, you know. I mean, Anthony Joshua got on really well, actually. Really hit it off, and we'd always have a laugh. He was a good fella. And then obviously we had a little bit of I think it soured a little bit when I started training with Tyson and friends with Tyson. And then as time had gone on, I started getting paid for sparring other boxers. And I'm starting to question, why has he never paid me, to be honest? And in my head, I'm thinking, he took the piss out of me, yeah? I was sparring 2 or 3 times a week. At times I'm doing 6, 8, up to 10 rounds a time with him. I had a broken nose at one point for about a year. Is that Rob McCracken? Is that him? I'm not sure. Over time now, you know, I've realised I should be looking after myself. I should have been a little bit smarter. You know, I should have had someone. It's a lot of time.
So, you heard I'm not going to call them allegations because I'm going to show you in a minute. Dave Allen, I think he's quite honest. He's got that northern honesty, but also during the video, he breaks it all down. It's worth watching. He tells you how good Usyk was. Usyk was number one. Sorry, Vlad was number one. Vlad had the best setup, the best food, proper pay. Vlad patterned it nicely. Usyk patterned it nicely as well with good pay, but the accommodation was a bit moody. The accommodation was a bit like, imagine you went out to Khabib's place. You can't people stop it, man. If you man was training with Khabib, man, you eating bone dry rice every day and sleeping with the bears. It's one of them. It's that warrior living. The thing about Dave Allen is, man, he a creature comforts looking at us. You can just tell he always eating too much. He don't want to train. Hey, man, Usyk there to train. Dave, he ain't there to eat. You see that one there? You too busy thinking about eat. Usyk's fixing to get it in. You understand? Eat for what? This is the what people. What do you think they was eating? Do you think the Warriors was eating steak and caviar? Yeah? You'd be lucky to get some dry, stale bread, for sure. That's what Usyk be on. Anyway, but more time, Usyk paid the guy. I think it was like 1,500 a week, which is 6 bags a month. It don't sound like, well, it is a lot, I know. Yeah? The YB, more time, in these inflationary times, for 6 bags, there's not much the YB wouldn't do, for real. You understand, people? Anyway, Johnston. Let me talk about Johnston for a second. I don't like Johnston. Even less now. He come across like, oh, I'm a hippie, I want to save the kids and that. Pay your sparring partners. Let's start there. Yeah? I've never been into this whole save the world rubbish. If everyone was more focused on, I'm not asking, Mr. Johnston, I'm not asking you to suck Dave Allen off after sparring. I'm asking you to pay him, though. If everyone worried about managing, like for example, employers, if employers worried about making sure their employees have enough bread to eat, you know what I'm saying, or whatever else, focus on your circle. If Johnson was paying, if everyone focused on making their circle better, you ain't got to be travelling to Nigeria and pretend you helping the kids there, as such. Do that as well, but make sure you're 100%. If you want to go to Nigeria and spend some bread, or go to Africa and spend some bread and pretend your name's Nelson Mandela, that's fine to do so, but don't be coming back home and acting like a shekel. Yeah? And I believe, I've told you this before, 258 management is Anthony Johnston's management company, and that is, how can I say it? It's a Ben Shalom operation. Read between the lines here, people. That's what's going on there. So is it Johnson? End of the day, Johnson's a grown ass big old bull. Yeah, it's like the Trump homosexuals. The Donald Trump homosexuals, they tell me things like, oh, IB, no, Trump is alpha. Trump is a big boss. It wasn't his fault that 4 foot tall Anthony Fauci made him do a madness. The fuck? Make your mind up. Are you big Donald Trump boss? Or are you cucked by a dude 4 foot tall? You cucked by a dude 4 foot tall. Stop telling me Trump is big boss. He cucked. In fact, Trump, he brought in the biggest violations of, what do you call it, of freedom ever. He rolled out the Moody stay in your yard. Right? So stop talking about Trump, man. He's your hell. If you slow in the head, oh! Trump homosexuals piss me off. All the homosexuals piss me off, to be fair. Let's call a spade a spade. He bought and paid for, like the rest of them, man. Yeah, when Big Pharma knocked Mr. Trump's door and said, hey, man, we fixing to roll this out, he rolled it out. Yeah, that's what he did. So stop playing with me. And that's just one example. Yeah? Back to the point. I'm not even sure how I got on that rant now. What was I talking about? Let me think now for a second. We were talking about Oh, that was it, yeah. I was making... There'll be some Anthony Johnston homosexuals out there who tell me, no, IB, it's not his fault, it's his management's fault. Even Dave Allen's doing it here. Oh, it might have been Rob McCrappen. It might have been Rob McCrappen. But you're a big old bull. And at that point, how old would AJ have been? I don't know, let's have a look. How old is he now? So AJ's 34 now. So 12 years ago in 2012, he'd have been 22. That's still quite young, to be fair, but still. How old do you need to be to know? And especially when you've been around boxing. AJ would have been around top boxers. Like Carl Froch. I don't know if Carl Froch was paying. Carl Froch was also under Rob McCrappen. So I'll be intrigued to see, was they getting paid too? I don't know. But in reality, and I believe once you get to that level, I don't know again about Carl. But if in my opinion, Carl's got millions in the bank here. For me personally, if I had millions in the bank and there was someone out there like Dave Allen saying, hey man, I didn't get paid. Hey man, throw the guy some bread. Sorry about that, brother. I had bad management, or I was young and I wasn't really thinking about it, but here's your 10 bags, man. Right? If I was Anthony Johnson, I'd want to make that right. People, you've been punched his head in for 6, 7, 8 rounds 3 times a week for 3 years. Pay the guy some bread, little piece of bread. A little piece of bread, 10 bags to AJ, yeah. I mean, he spent it on, I don't know what he spent it on, but he spent it on, that's a minor for Johnston. That's what he should do right now. Yeah? Let bygones be bygones, pay the guy his bread, and keep it pushing. You ain't got your best friends. You ain't got to go to his wedding. Yeah? You ain't got to take him to Saudi to do a madness with the prince. Just pay the guy his bread for his services rendered. And there is a culture, and Dave goes on in a minute to explain this, there is a culture in boxing. Boxing in particular, it's not really collaborative. It's probably the most, it's like, what can I get out of you? If you go sparring at a gym, yeah, and you haven't bought a trainer, they're not interested in both fighters getting better. They want to see their fighter crush your fighter. It's a bit of a bonehead mentality. There's no collaboration. We've seen Devin Haney in there, whooping on sparring partners, taking the piss. When really, clearly, he ain't like that, right? When the bell goes in a real fight, he ain't like that, whooping on no one. So why do that in sparring for? Pretending. People say, well, iron sharpens iron and you need to practice your skills. Beating up a guy who's outmatched, there's nothing cool in that. And I don't believe it adds any skill. We can all do that. Yeah, in my opinion, in them times, you should practice on the high level skills that require less thrashing about. There's no point, Devin, there's no point pretending you're hard, yeah, or Johnston. That's the thing about Johnston as well. Johnston was no doubt punching Dave Allen's head in, but when he got in there with Mr. Blobby, oops, he ain't hard no more. And that's my beef really with the boxing culture. All these guys, they bring up, yeah, and they punch up all these dudes and don't pay them. Then when it's their turn to get punched up, he'll bend out of shape. How many people do you think Anthony Johnson has punched up in sparring, people? And acted really hard. Hundreds in there. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you're hard when the bell goes in a real fight. Just make sure you're hard when the YB's coins on the line. Don't be doing that. Don't be punching up dudes who are below your level. And Dave Allen, in another video, went on to explain. He said that he shouldn't really have been sparring so hard with people who are above his level. If that makes sense. And he said it crushed his confidence. But again, I believe it's a responsibility, man. Yeah, you know, when you get in there and you're outmatching someone, you know, it's not gonna. Unfortunately, for you meatheads out there, yeah, the meatheads in the boxing gyms would like to believe that it'll add 4 inches to your cock, teeing off on someone. But we all know all them big gym bullies, they get in there at some point, like Johnson and whoever else, or Lawrence Okoli, they get in there at some point and their back ass flaps because they don't have the security of their gym. There's no corner man going to pull you out or bail you out when you don't feel well. There's nothing going to save you. It's just you and that guy in there, and all of a sudden Lawrence Okoli can't punch. All of a sudden Johnson on his knees somewhere, trying to blow Mr. Blobby, the Mexican Mr. Blobby. Right? So don't be doing that, man. If you're in there and you're outmatching someone, work on your skills. Touch the dude. Touch him all over. You ain't got to be pretending you're hard, though. That's my point. Unless you're really hard. But what you find is, from what I've heard, Golovkin was pretty devastating in the ring. But from what I've heard, he wouldn't go in there and batter sparring partners. He'd give them good work, yeah, but he wouldn't take the piss, from what I've heard. Even Usyk, he saw Usyk when he was sparring Dave Allen. Usyk caught him, yeah, and he wasn't on him. He was like making sure Dave was all right. Now you can say, well, why be? He still rocked Dave. People. By that point, Dave was cabbaged anyway. Yeah? And number 2, I think Usyk was quite surprised. Usyk ain't used to stopping no one, to be fair. So when Usyk popped Dave Allen in the mouth, he probably thought, well, that's never happened before, kind of thing. He wasn't in there trying to tee off on Dave. But certain, man, if you... They go... I've seen it in Floyd Mayweather's gym. If someone gets clipped, they're like... Yeah? Like a bunch of zoo animals. And it's not just Floyd's gym. It's the general boxing culture. It's wrong. And you can say, why be you hippie, you soft. People, get this. There's nothing hard about punching someone up who you can punch up. That's not hard. Yeah? That's never hard. When you get in there and you know, okay, I'm an 8 out of 10 at boxing and here's a 5, there's nothing hard about it. What's it going to do? Pump your ego up a little bit. But more time, when you get in there with a 9, you'll bend out of shape. Oh, my elbow hurts. You see them ones there? That's what a lot of the gym bullies, yeah, they're hard when they're in there with people below their level. They're getting the mix of someone on their own level, and all of a sudden, oh, I need to go to the toilet. Joe Joyce said that about Martin Bakoli, to be fair. And I believe Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce said he punched up Martin Bakoli, and Martin Bakoli need to go to the toilet. That's what... I'm sorry, but you can say what you want, yeah. I don't believe... Joe Joyce ain't a liar. Yeah, if Joe Joyce punched you up in sparring and you had to go to the toilet, yeah, then you got punched up by Joe in sparring. Now, in a fight, that don't mean nothing, but I'm just saying that's what happened. Stop doing this kind of narrative that this gym warrior thing it carries weight. There's times to go hard, and in my opinion, for example, let's say AJ and that's a good example actually. AJ and Fury sparred once, and it was the amateurs. And even then, I think from what I've heard, Dave Allen goes on to explain as well in other videos, maybe this video, that Tyson Fury never really give him the work like that. And I think Tyson Fury is more... I don't know, he's an idiot. But again, don't take my opinion for it. Dave Allen says he'd go down and spar Tyson Fury, and it was good work, but it was never malicious work. It was never, oh, I'm trying to punch a hole through you. And even when Tyson, we've all clowned Tyson, I've got a video coming soon on that actually. Tyson was taught years ago, when AJ was in the amateurs, he sparred AJ, and he was basically saying AJ's a great amateur and he was giving me the work. But even then, Fury was trying to almost build AJ up, and I think in that sparring session even, he probably wasn't going all in. He probably knew AJ's an amateur and I'm going to nurse him kind of thing. And that's the narrative, again, not my opinion. Dave Allen said that. He went in there, had good work with Tyson, but it was never pedal to the metal. He ain't said that about AJ. And that's the narrative we've been getting from these fights. He was a big bully, and then he fell off. And the minute he got hit in his mouth, all of a sudden, after bullying all these sparring partners and bullying all these bums, yeah, Mr. Bloody pop in the mouth, and it's 5 years counting since he's been broken. That's why I don't have no sympathy for this guy. Can't deal with bullies like that. And he can come across all humble and all Lucasade. Oh, I'm Lucasade. Oh, I'm walking with the kids in the park. I'm going for a run with the kids in the park. But pay your sparring partners, man. Let's leave it. Listen, Johnson. I don't care what you'd be doing with Lucasade. I don't care what kids you'd be running with. Pay your sparring partners. How about that? Let's start there. That's what actually makes you a good person. It's no good posting up for Lucasade in a paid advertisement running with the kids, yeah. And more time, you got sparring partners who have done a whole bunch of work for you. and they ain't paid. Now you can say, well, YB, it was 2012 and AJ was coming up, and pay him something. Yeah? Dave Allen said he was sparring, who was it? A lesser known guy. I forgot his name now, but it was a lesser known cruiserweight, and he'd pay him £20 a round. And Dave Allen himself says, I pay for sparring partners, but I'm not a millionaire. I can't pay X amount. I pay what I can afford. It's not the amount, right? It's not the amount. It's like hey bro, like AJ could have come to
I'm gonna turn up on me.
AJ could have come to Dave Allen and said, hey man, I'm a little bit broke, or I haven't got no coin, but when I get on, I'm gonna sort you out. Yeah, something like that. Or that was in 2012, maybe after the Olympics. You're still broke. 2015 though, he fought Dillian White in 2015. He's making 500 grand a piece. At that point, the Dillian White fight would have been millions. The rumoured amount is about 3-4 million AJ made. But even before that, he'd have been making the fight before Dillian White, when he was still sparring Dave Allen. He'd have been making 500 grand minimum, probably a mil, I'd assume, but 500 grand minimum, guaranteed. Yeah, so pay the guy, man, for his work. And the fact Johnson hasn't come out, and I guess maybe he wouldn't even remember necessarily, but you know, a lot of these cats, man, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing, man. Whether it's Rob McCrappen, whether it's, well, I'm damn sure the Ben Shalom cats working with Johnston, yeah, they'll be telling him, nah, that's what they be doing. That's their shtick. Their shtick is get something for nothing if you can. Fact, right? If them man can get something for nothing, they've been doing that. Yeah, they've been doing that. So I'm not saying has AJ been influenced. I've also heard actually from other sources, Tony Sims, because AJ was training with Tony Sims for a few years, and they split up. And in fact, I've talked to someone as well. I'm living in the Essex area now, and some cat came in, some big boss, narco boss, came in and said he knows the Tony Sims family or whatever, and he said that he heard AJ is really tight with the coins. So there you go, people. It is an anecdote for you, man. No, I'm not making it up. I didn't like if I meet people in public. Yeah, I don't even say, oh, I'm a YouTuber, I cover boxing. People, I say, oh, I'm into boxing, and they mention things. Bosh, AJ tight, and Tony Sims and AJ split up in unknown circumstances. Who knows? Maybe Tony Sims was supposed to get paid and didn't. That's just some speculation there. But yeah, I just don't like to see this, man. Dave's a nice guy, and if Dave's one of the guys, he ain't the first and he ain't the last. There'll be a whole bag, and there'll be a whole list of men who have had their bodies exploited essentially by Johnson. Now the flip side is, oh well, Dave Allen was a grown man too, YB, and he didn't have to do it. It's not the point though. It's not the point, in my opinion. It's not the point, if I'm honest. Especially at that stage, you got to remember that AJ's the star. He's coming up, and just because you're a star, you don't mean you have to exploit people. Yeah, Dave Allen inherently was being a good person. If that makes sense. He was coming there working for free. Johnston having labour for free, that's always whack in my opinion. Yeah, this ain't 1820 Johnston. So pay your man. If I was you, I'd get on the Zelle, I'd get on the Cash App, man, and send some dude some coins. Just a little token to say, hey man, that was wrong of me. I'm a corny looking ass. So here's some bread for you to eat with. Anyway, go and check Dave Allen's channel out, because he's actually doing the most right now. Interesting stories. Anyway, I'll just play this part as well. I think I've already mentioned it.
Look after myself. I should have been a little bit smarter. You know, I should have had someone. So a lot of the time I turn up on my own. I should have been smart. You know, it's no one's fault but my own. But yeah, I did think I deserved to get paid. It was professional boxing, but I didn't, and I'm over it now. To be honest, for a long time I was a bit bitter about it. I felt like I'd give a hell of a lot of myself, and I didn't get what I deserved, but probably my fault, to be honest. Then moving on, they're the heavyweight champions.
So there you go. Dave's blaming himself, and he does have some responsibility. On a scale of 0 to 100, I'd say Dave has about 10 or 20% responsibility. He should have said, hey man, what's the pay saying? Really? But you shouldn't have to say that, man. You know what I mean? If you want your lawn cutting, I shouldn't have to ask you how much is the pay. It should be, obviously, I'm not going to do nothing for free. Right? Who want to do something for free? Johnson ain't going to do nothing for free. That's what you best believe. If people say, oh, YB, after a fight, he sits there and shakes hands. He made 10 million that night. You man are bugging. Yeah? You pay me 10 mil, I'll shake some hands as well for an hour or two. Eddie Hearn, Johnson, he stays there all night. Oh, fucking hell. Want a medal? You make 10 mil in one night from them fans who come there, and you want a medal for standing there till 12 o'clock or for 4 or 5 hours after. You got nothing else going on. You're done then. You can have the whole of Sunday off in the next 10 months. Stop playing with me. It's irritating. But yeah, let me tell you the bit where he tells you how good Vlad.
Hello everyone, today's video is about what I got paid for sparring in where it was put up. It was like a mansion in the Alps. It was a 14 in Austria. So first of all, in terms of where it was put up, it was like a mansion in the Alps. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. Probably the nicest place I've stayed, if not a little boring really. I was only there 5 days, but there was nowhere to go or no.
See, Dave calls it boring again. Dave ain't really. He didn't come on, bro. Oh, it's boring. Oh, Vlad's place was beautiful, but it was boring. Come on, Dave, you work, bro. What's wrong with you? You got this. You got that couch potato mentality, man. Yeah, you there to work and train, and you trying to get in the mix with activities. Vlad at home sleeping, man, resting up. You out there. The entertainment wasn't so good. Fucking hell, Dave. Jesus.
Nothing to do. The food we had in the Sanglevert Hotel, which is just an unbelievable place. The food was incredible. And on top of that, the payment was €1,500 a week. I was only there for 5 days, but they paid me in full as well. They could have probably paid me less, but they gave me the full 15. At the time I was supply teaching, and I think I might be taking like 250, 300 a week home. So, you know, €1,500. I'm not sure what that equates to. Maybe, I don't know. A little less than 50.
Alright, so there's a Vlad one.
But yeah, it was a hell of a lot of money. And you know what? He had like, I think when I was there, maybe like 8 or 9 sparring partners. Putting all that money into the spar. It was, but it was very good for me. So yeah, that was the most I got paid. The second on this was Usyk. He gave me 2,000. I think it worked out at €2,000, I believe. But with Usyk, I think I might have sparred definitely north of 20 rounds, 20, 25, maybe a few more. We did do too many rounds on the first day. And that money's good, you know, like €1,000 a week I was over the moon with. But where we stayed, it was the worst. It was the worst environment, the worst. It was, I think it was the Ukraine Olympic training base, and I personally, it wasn't nice. You know, the food was.
Okay, so here we go, Dave again. Vlad's was good, but it had no activities. Usyk's was bad. There was no food, bro. You're eating the same food. If you're at the Ukraine Olympic thing, you're eating the same thing everyone else eating. It would be like a canteen. Yeah, that's what you call getting out the mud, Dave. You've been too westernized, man. Have you got calories in your body, yes or no? That's the bottom line here. Most 90, 50 or X amount of % of the world, they're living off a bowl of rice, right? Get them calories in. If you get a bag of rice, you winning at the end of the day for most people in the world. Do you know what I mean? Jesus, man. What's wrong with you? So, yeah. There's that, and then there is... where is it? I want to give a shout out as well to Dillian White, because Dave does say that Dillian White held him down. So again, I might not always be on point with Dillian, yeah, but I respect that man, especially after Johnston. So really, the only one he airs out is Johnston. And Dillian White, yeah, he's had a good career, but it's never been AJ career. So if Dillian White can put you up in a hotel in London, give you taxis to and from the place, to and from the hotel, and patting you up, man. Like, come on, bro. Come on, Johnston.
He would always pay me. Just try it there. And then more like UK-based sparring. Sparred Dylan White a few times. He would always pay. I sparred him in Leicester, where I would just travel down. He would always pay me expenses, and always pay me, you know, for sparring as well. I sparred him in London a few times, just stay in Barking. Always put me in a nice hotel. Always pay me a few quid. No complaints at all. Come pick us up, me and the other sparring partners, take us for food, nice places. So yeah, he treated us really well. Sparring Enzo Macronelli in Cardiff.
Enzo, that was it.
he always paid. I think it was £20 a round, which I was happy with at the time. I was only a young kid. So yeah, obviously it.
So you've heard it there, people. Everyone paying something, and Johnston not. Oh, maybe you stay hating Johnston. No, just pay your sparring partners, man. There's no hate here. Pay your sparring partners, number one. Stop beating sparring partners up here and then jacking with Mr. Blobby or flapping your ass against Hellenius or all the pumps. That's all you got to do. Real simple. If you want to be hard and be people, if Johnston was punching up sparring partners, yeah, and he was getting in the ring this gully, you'd say, well, man, he getting it how he live and he like that. But no, you ain't like that, no. You soft. You hard when you're bullying someone. When you time to fight, your bottom falls out, and that's whack, man. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. People, smash the like button, subscribe, lick off the bell, 100%, no doubt about it. Stop it.